Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft2 video. For this one we continue our series on SC2 AI Arena. We're doing a Gauntlet style tournament of all 67 bots from the bottom up to the top, excluding the top 8 who will be in the official tournament coming up this Saturday. Last we left off we had Better Worker Rush showing just how powerful a Probe Rush is when it comes to bots, the way he can abuse the shield regen mechanic and individually microed workers as he plowed through a bunch of really strong bots, ending at 5-1, finally defeated by Mad AI. And yeah, today Mad AI will start his reign, or he will hope to, but he has a difficult opponent first, and Defsante's Sprouch. Okay, so bot done only to learn Python. This is a first draft version. This first draft version has still huge ways to be improved. Okay, so it looks like it's not using Sharpie, but using just the basic Bernie SE2 Python API. So from my standpoint, I like that because it means there's more diversity in the bots. If you're a developer yourself, probably want to use Sharpie. Just makes life easier. Development has been more focused on macro than micro. Currently only using a very fast unit to harass continuously to make opponent's expansion difficult. Yes, he does make it very difficult. Yeah, so I think Zergling, Bailing, Muta, or maybe just Zergling Muta is what he focuses on. So obviously that creates some problems as there's compositions that I can't deal with. But with a very powerful macro game behind it, sometimes it doesn't matter. He can face armies that are more powerful than his, but he has the larger economy to overwhelm. Yeah, so let's go ahead and hop into this next game as Mad AI, who had a tremendous Worker Rush defense, but now we're going to get to see a little bit more about Mad AI when he's available, and we'll get to see that machine learning that was well promised, as he will go out, scout with his first worker, and do a combination of deep neural network decision based off of training, some sort of forestry thing I didn't understand, and his own weighting based on his SC2 knowledge combined together to choose the optimal build for what he has scouted. Yeah, so spawning in the top left, we have the returning champ. It is Mad AI as the red Protoss. Meanwhile, in the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg. It is Sprouch. I say it that way because he shouts his own name whenever he kills a base. And sometimes with bots, you get in this weird thing where you're like, let me throw it on a command center. Oh no, it's dying. Let me cancel it. Let me throw it down again. Oh no, it's dying. Cancel it. And you build and cancel so many times in a row that, you know, he cancels like 15 command centers over a span of like 1 second. And of course, he has to shout out Sprouch every single time that happens. So we got some nice Sprouch spam going on. With that said, here comes the Scout probe out of Mad AI. And we'll see what information he has gathered. It looks like it's going to be a pool first out of Sprouch. No gas has been taken, however, which means he will be able to take a queen and an expansion quite easily. And get that economy rolling. Maybe even a third base is on the way. The time, where's the time on this? Oh, there's no time. We got the time hidden, so you don't know when it ends. But we've got to be reaching 2 minutes fairly soon. Meanwhile, on his side of the map, he has gone Pylon, Gateway, Pylon with a couple gas geysers, leaving his options open. There is a spawning pool out of Sprouch. Just double checking the chat that we haven't missed it. A couple lings will be showing away this probe. Maybe he makes the decision when the probe dies. Could be something like that. Get as much information as possible, but I think he mentioned a specific time, like 2 minutes or 2:30. Oh, here's the time over here, 1:52. So these lings are like looking around for proxies, I suppose. As we have seen in this tournament, proxies are very common. So 2-base Robo is... so the Rush Defense build order is chosen. Not sure if that was correct. Let's just pause here for a moment and see what we got here. So based on his previous stats, Okay, so I thought it was supposed to be a percentage between 0 and 100. Perhaps it is. So 2-base robo based on neural network is very low. Based on the tree is still pretty low, and the zone is a -6. Yeah, so rush defend based on neural network is like right up there, 98, 99.98. But these are the available builds. We have 4-gate proxy. I don't think this is actually proxy. I think it's just a proxy pylon. So it's just like a standard 4-gate. 2-base robo attack, a rush defense, or a sky toss. So I picked rush defense, but I don't know. There's a hatchery and there wasn't much gas. So me as an SC2 player questions that decision. You know, without gas, there's like queens can't get across the map. You know, there's not going to be zergling speed. There's probably not going to be roaches, although roaches with a late gas does make sense. But just the expansion alone. And Sprouts with the blind 3 spines. Or no, maybe not blind. Maybe based on the fact that he's facing a 1-base Protoss. But this Protoss is just trying to stay alive, throwing down shield batteries and cannons. Not an offensive threat at the moment. Actually canceled the spines. Interesting. So perhaps when he saw a cannon or a shield battery, he's like, oh, okay, he's investing in defense. Let me just cancel those spines. So I always thought Sprout did spines just by default. Because when I saw it, I'm just like, okay, it's really hard to stay alive as Zerg. You only lose 3 larvae to build 3 spines. So why not just throw down 3 spines, and then that way you're safe against a whole bunch of certain different things that can come out. You don't have to worry about, you know, dealing with the 145 different cheeses that can come your way. You only have to deal with maybe like the 5 that 3 spines don't help with. But it looks like it was a reaction to seeing no expansion, and then he changed his mind when he saw maybe a lack of units, or maybe saw the cannons and the shield battery. So Sprout is going up to his 3rd base now. Lair is on the way, which is important because I think with this build, it's kind of a clever build on Mad AI. He's like, okay, I want to stay alive against a rush all-in, which is what I'm trying to do, but I want to put a little bit of offense too. And his little bit of offense is going to be DTs. Let's bring up the production tab. So Dark Shrine is on the way. So defend with some cannons and gateway units, and then send a smattering of Dark Templar across the map to try to win. So with Lair, he at least has the ability to make Overseers. Obviously, there's the ability to make Spores, but at the moment, neither exist. We got a couple of Dropper Lords going on here, although he loaded it up and sent it home. I've certainly been dropped by Sprouch before. He bypasses my Planetary Fortress and kind of goes in. Okay, here we go. He just had to make up his mind. Overlord speed is on the way. There's pneumatized Carapace. So it's not going to be a slow drop forever. With that said, here come the DTs. Again, no detection on the board. We do have a Spire on the way. No spores that I can see. Now, the shimmer of DTs can instantly be seen by bots. So Sprouch's code does know that these exist. Has he coded anything to deal with them? Thus far, no. So even now he's getting hit by Dark Templar. Yeah. So he said he uses, you know, kind of just basic units for now, just the Zerglings and the Mutas, and do a whole lot of harass. So maybe that even includes lack of Overseers and lack of spec defense. This could just be one of those things that Sprout is not coded for yet. Now, he has dropped in here, but a decent number of gateway units on the defense. And now I can see why the neural network has decided that this build is really nice against Sprout. So it wasn't because he needed to rush defend, it was because Dark Templar was part of the rush defense, and the Dark Templar just worked so well versus Sprout, as we can see. Another drop getting in there, but again, not something that Mad AI has to worry about. A DT Shrine going down would be nice. That would help if he ever cleaned up the DTs, but I don't think he'll ever clean up the DTs. I'm still not seeing anything on the production tab that's helpful. Yeah, and that is the end of the workers. Now these mutas will deal with the zealots, obviously. And the rest of the army is coming across as well. Well, some of it is. I think these cannons and shield batteries alone will not be something that the mutas can deal with. So even if there is no anti-air for the Protoss and he tried to base trade with these mutas, I don't think it would be enough. So let's go ahead and speed this up to 8x. And there you go. So yeah, I mean, machine learning is based on like a reward system almost. It doesn't say, you know, when you see this, you do that. When you scout that, you do this. It's all based on results. Like, I'm going to try random things. And when I try this random thing, I often get a good result. So I'm going to weight that a little more. And when I try this random thing, it doesn't work very well. So I'm going to do that less. So I don't really care why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I just keep doing it over and over again. Eventually, just based on results, I'm going to figure out which one's the best. And that's the case here, right? So based on the available builds, you would say if your opponent's not rushing, you probably shouldn't pick the rush defense build order. But based on results, you can see why this rush defense build order will always smash Sprout, because it involves Dark Templar. So interesting. Why that? I need to close this down properly. Anyways, let's go back to the list here. So Mad AI has defeated Sprout. Oh, yeah. And Vermin Dog is next. So Vermin Dog is by a new bot author called Fidelina, who has developed very strong programmer. I've seen a little bit of his code, as he's another Java programmer. And he's actually in the process of building a framework in Java that everyone can use. So if you prefer Java, like I did, you don't have to go through a lot of the headaches that I did, because Java is much more raw of an API than, say, Python, for instance. But he's got it in the works. He says a few months, which for a programmer probably means like a year or never, but it's getting there. Anyways, while he's been developing this framework, he's also obviously developing his own bots on top of it. His bots are very cheesy, but his cheese is very effective. And his army movement is very effective too, where his army, I gotta stand it up here. I can't, whatever. Ever try to use a webcam as a mirror? Everything's backwards. Yeah, his army compositions kind of work well together, especially his Terran, where the siege tanks will support the bio, and the liberators will kill the enemy siege tanks, so his siege tanks can move in forward. Like, there's nice synergy there. So he started with Dominion Dog, which is this Terran bot, but he's also made plenty of builds for all three races. So he has also Cylon Dog, which is his Protoss bot. He has Vermin Dog, which is a Zerg bot. I'm not too familiar with the builds he has there. And of course, if you're going to build all three bots, why not create Mixed Breed, which is his random bot. And I'm showing you all of this, but not showing you. Yeah. So Dominion Dog is rank 4, Mixed Breed rank 8, Cylon Dog rank 15. So you can see these are pretty powerful for one base attacks, and Vermin Dog near the bottom. So we'll see how Mad AI can hold versus Vermin Dog, as we'll jump into that. Is there a bio here? There is not. Where did we leave off? Right there. Right, forgot to close this. Very professional cast here. And his bots, where they are, I assume almost all based on heavy one base aggression. They do have transitions, they do expand, and they'll play into the late game. They're just much less refined in that area of the game. So you'll be noticing, his army movement won't make as much sense anymore. He'll probably be lacking upgrades. The compositions won't make as much sense. But his early game attacks just allow him to get so high on the ladder, and even if he doesn't win with that early attack, maybe he'll get a big enough lead that his transition will work just fine, just because of that early lead. Yeah, so spawning in the bottom left, we have Mad AI going for his 3rd straight victory, 2 impressive games versus both Sprouch and Better Worker Rush. And the new challenger, the Java brother, it is Vermindog as the blue Zerg. So I think his main focus is on his Terran bot. That's the one that's doing very well on the ladder. That's the one he originally started with. But since he built this framework that can handle like inputting builds and can handle multiple races, I'm sure he's developed like some somewhat decent builds for all 3 races. And he's built a lot of builds too. Like I think with Terran alone he has maybe 8 different builds, or maybe it's combined he has 8 different builds. But they're all fairly basic, I think. Like even like there's no idea of like sending out the Overlord, for instance. But the build orders are pretty solid from what I've seen. I have not seen Vermindog, however. So there is the Scout probe out of Mad AI, the one that will be doing all the scouting to make the decision on which build to use. Spawning pool is done. And a lot of gas, not sure where it's going to yet. He's at 72, so I'm guessing that's going to be for speed, as it's a little early to be used for roaches. Double checking the lack of an expansion. Oh, actually there is a roach warren going down. So such an early gas for a roach build makes me think it's possibly going to be Ravagers, not roaches. Because roaches alone I don't think will spend this much gas. And the Rush defense build order is chosen again. This time, logically for myself, it makes a much more defense, much more sense, as you will be defending against a 1-base Roach play, Ravager play, something along those lines. If it was Ravagers, it would have been nice that to have this first Overlord sent across the map just to grant high ground vision, and then you can start smacking the cannons on the high ground there with the outranging with the Ravager Biles. All right, let's bring up that production tab. Oh, burrowed roach play. Okay, now it's making a little more sense. So I did say roaches won't spend all that gas that quickly, so you don't need the gas that early. But if you're also investing 100 gas in a burrow, then it makes a little more sense here. Yeah, but okay, the nice thing about burrow is you can kind of use it like blink micro, As your unit gets low, you just burrow it, and where that can be difficult to individually burrow the correct units at the right time for a human player, that's something a bot can do very easily. But if you're getting gunned down by a cannon and you burrow, that doesn't help you at all because you're still detected. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out. The first inject is done, so a whole bunch more roaches will be joining in to the original 5 we have going across the map. Let's see if Vermindog is smart enough to retreat out of detection range before it does the burrow micro. Okay, so cutting back against the Zealot. That's nice. We'll drain the shield battery a little bit, get the Zealot down, not lose much in the process. Does like this cannon and Stalker are getting some kills. Trying to retreat the roaches as he gets low, but it's just too much firepower up here. If we look at the vision, this one is actually burrowed in detection range. So burrow not being too helpful. Burrow also makes roaches regenerate at a crazy fast rate. I think with the burrow movement, they actually regenerate much faster than... Actually, I know they regenerate much faster than even a medevac can heal units. Yeah. So, very basic, but very effective rush defense, especially if he's good at keeping his units on the high ground. I'm not sure if he can ever get dragged to the low ground or not, but at minimum, the shield battery will help the cannons, which is nice. And then we do know he also has his kill move, right? There is the Dark Shrine. So I guess the only glimmer of hope for Venom Dog is, did he see it? He did not. He didn't even see the Twilight Council. Perhaps if he gets vision of it, there could be some sort of, let me get detection. Okay, now he'll see the DTs, so he gets a lot of prevents warning against the DTs. But I'm gonna guess this bot just has very basic builds put in. You know, Zerg and Protoss were more of an afterthought for Fidelina. So does he do detection? Also, even in his Terran bots, his main bot, I know detection was one of the things he dealt with very late. Losing to DTs is one of the ways he used to lose with Dominion Dog. Possibly even still loses with Dominion Dog, I'm not sure. Yeah, at least he's out of range of the cannon now, so this burrowing will make sense, but with such high damage per attack out of these Dark Templar, sometimes he's not even able to burrow in time. Yeah, if they both swing around the same time, he just doesn't get down. And it's 4 hits to kill him, right? So they both swing, and then they both swing again, and on that second volley, the Roach does die. Now when they get split up, I suspect that they'll be able to survive the burrow. Yeah. Okay, so this could end up being a distraction technique. Meanwhile, he's going up to 3 bases of his own. You know, there's no thought of expanding out Mad AI, so if he doesn't push out, okay, there goes that one glimmer of hope. Actually, DT made it into the main base too, so he didn't stay distracted as long as I thought. Yeah, let's go ahead and speed this up because it might take a while with these roaches playing whack-a-mole. Very tentative to attack into that hatchery. And the first and the weakest of Fidelina's repertoire of bots does go down. Now, the top bots we will not be able to see from him because they will be in the top 8. Officially, he's bringing Mixed Breed to that tournament and not Dominion Dog. But Dominion Dog is like number 3 on the ladder. I don't think I'm going to include him in this tournament as it'll be unfair to the other bots. We'll stop once we reach the first bot that's going to be in the showcase. Because in that showcase there is a 1 bot per author limit. Let's go back out to check out where we are in the bracket here. We got Vermin Dog going down, so Mad AI is won 3 in a row. That is the limit for many bots. Let's see if he can get 4th. And he will have a very difficult bot next. It will be Tyr. Now, Tyr obviously is a random bot, so it'll be tougher to know exactly how difficult Tyr will be. Obviously, his Zerg is not as strong as his Protoss. We do know that Mad AI scouts, so that he'll be able to figure out what he's up, what race he's up against before he makes his decision, as well as what strategy to choose. So I don't think the fact that it's random will help Tyr in any way. But if that random ends up being Protoss, Tyr's Protoss is pretty deadly, as his Protoss only bot is number 12 on the ladder. So that will be interesting. We're at the 24-minute mark. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and hop into it. I'm starting to lose my voice, but we got time for another game, so why not? So as we load that up, let's go take a look, see if there's anything written for Tyr here. Nope, it's a random bot. Oh, it is another .core bot. I don't think he's using the Abathur framework or the Sharky framework, which are the 2 C# frameworks. I think he started with the raw one and just kind of built his own off of that. I could be mistaken, but whatever Tyr is using, I don't think you can use it. I think it's it's embedded into his bot now. All right, start spawning in the bottom left. We have the 3-0 bot. It is Mad AI, and the random bot in the top right is the blue Terran. Okay, so we got the medium bot, right? I think tier T we haven't seen yet, so he's somewhat higher than where we are on the ladder, but lower than his Protoss. When I faced this Terran, I think I faced a lot of cheese out of him, but a lot of bots kind of use data and find out what works versus their opponents and take builds off of that. He's also not even facing a Terran right now. Why did I think this is a TBT? So it doesn't really matter what he does against my bot. It's completely irrelevant. Completely different matchup. But we'll see what we get here. Second depot going down. So barracks. And gas before barracks. So that is usually a sign of wanting to go for a fast factory. As you'll have about 150 gas when this finishes. So you can build a Reaper and a factory. Or you can build a reactor and a factory, depending on what you want to get. Nice little tracking of the probe there. As it arrives, you just kind of chase with one SCV just so it doesn't get annoying. There are a couple bots who will harass your SCVs that are producing structures. And it sucks because you might lose a ton of workers in the process. You might also... It may also prevent that structure from ever getting finished, depending on how well you coded your, producing code. It's obviously a little bit more complex for a Terran, how to produce a structure. It's not just a one-click and forget about it. So Sky Toss build order is chosen. Now I've talked about how strong Tempests are. They are especially strong versus Terran. As you can just kind of kite infinitely from range. They make Marines pretty terrible unless you can catch them out in the open. And even for Vikings, it requires some clever decision making from Vikings. Usually Vikings are the kiting units, but in this case they're the unit getting kited. So you can't let them just pick away at your Viking count. You gotta stay outside the range, build up, and then commit. And when to commit decision can be very difficult. Sometimes you'll commit and then all of a sudden you fly over a big pile of stalkers or cannons and it's like, oh, I committed. So maybe you need code to exit out of the commit, and then your bot might become too tentative and never charge the Tempest. So it's a challenge. Marauders on the production tab, always a strong unit versus gateway units that Protoss has. And it looks like it could be a one-base attack here. Yeah, so we got tanks, 3 gateway units, or 3 barracks units at a time. Will be built soon as this reactor finishes. And possibly even an upgrade here, maybe a stim or a combat shield. Or even concussive shell with the Marauders would be nice. So Mad AI is going up to 2 bases. His army count is very tiny. Now he does have a shield battery to help defend. Hopefully he doesn't get kited back over here. Another very tough thing to code with your bot is how do you engage properly against the enemy but not leave the range of your all-important shield batteries. So if a Marauder's out here like shooting and backing up, do you chase it with the Zealots or do you not chase it with the Zealots? That can be a tough one to decide. Obviously on the high ground it's much easier as you have the vision advantage where the Marauders have to get to the ramp to start that kiting. So you can't kite beyond the vision of the ramp. But on the low ground here you don't have that advantage, at least not on this map. This looks like a very scary attack if he decides to go. And you're going to be running out of time soon. There's a Tempest on the way already. In fact, I think the time to go is now or never. Another 60 seconds, I think this game is over. Like, still will this will be able to plow through the Protoss base, maybe even kill the natural base. If you're facing 3-4 Tempest, this will die eventually. And at the end of that, you're both on one base, except he still has Tempest and you have nothing at that point. So waiting on Starport. There's Tech Lab on the Starport, so I don't think that's going to help with the Tempest at all. Maybe a Liberator or Raven will be the choice. more Marauders, and yes, now I am super scared. Another Tempest on the way. One Tempest is out. Handful of Zealots, which take a long time for Marauders to kill. They can jump on top of the bio if they have charge, but no charge yet. Well, no, charge is on the way. Okay. I think the Terran's already dead if he doesn't attack before charge is done, so I don't think charge will be relevant. But, yeah. 500 minerals banked up, which is a little weird. This build looks a little bit broken. In fact, it looks very broken. There's no SCVs being produced, no Marines being produced, no Marauders being produced, no tanks being produced, and just the one Raven. With Cloak. Yeah, something has happened to Tyr. He's gone up to 800 minerals. It appears at this point he's only building gas units. Or maybe there's some sort of list of units he wanted to build, and because he couldn't afford the tank yet, he couldn't get to the units below it, which were Marines and Marauders. Yeah, so I have something like that. Like, if I can't afford the tank, I subtract the tank from my current bank, and then continue to the next unit. So I'm still saving up the resources for that tank. So I prioritize it, but if I can afford the tank and a Marine, then I'll still build the Marine, even though I don't have the gas for the tank. Anyways, the push is finally coming. That is a ton of siege tanks, 6 of them. The Marine count is much smaller than it could have been. But, oh my goodness. 5 Tempests with bot guiding. Not something that tanks are going to excel against. Let's make that 6 Tempests. And even these Zealots, they're going to get on top of the tanks. Marauders are taking quite a while to take it down, and that low Marine count means that these... Oh, there's no kiting. I guess he doesn't consider these Marines much of a threat, so he doesn't even kite backwards. Yeah, with such a low Marine count, he wasn't able to deal with the Zealots quickly. You know, what do you have, 800 minerals? So that could potentially have been another 16 Marines in that fight. If he cuts through those Marines instantly, then the tanks and Marauders can maybe push in, maybe kill off the space before they finally die to the Tempest. Again, I don't see how that would put him in a good spot, even if he takes out the natural. That attack really needed to happen back when the Tempest count was at 0 to 1. Go with like your first 2 tanks and you know, 3 Marauders and 5 Marines, something like that. Then you can blow through the natural, kill a bunch of probes, maybe even get through the main base before the Tempests are relevant. And then perhaps a larger economy could lead to victory. But not the case. Let's go ahead and speed this up, as I don't see any way to come back. Even against a 4 base economy, once you're facing this many Tempests, it can be really difficult. And we do have a bot that knows how to GG. There's not many of them out there. I guess it's not something difficult to code. Obviously, it's not something that makes your bot better, so people don't really code it. And if you have a bug, you can end up quitting games that you should have won. But I guess you can do something like... I mean, there's so many edge cases that you gotta be really careful. I guess if you have no army, no workers, and no command centers, that's gotta be safe to quit, I would think. The best case scenario there would be a draw. But I could see someone saying, okay, if I have nothing in the bank and I lose all my workers and I lose all my bases, then I should quit. But maybe your opponent is screwed too, and maybe you still got like 80 army supply, and now you just quit a game that you could potentially have won or at least drawn. So you gotta be careful. But I think no army, no workers, no bases, that would probably be a safe way to GG. So another victory out of Mad AI. What is that? Is that 4? That threshold of 3 isn't much of a threshold anymore. Let's go take a look here. So Mad AI started off by beating Better Worker Rush, I recall that, and went on to beat Sprouch, Vermindog, and now Tyr. So yeah, that is 4-0. Next up is Spud. Spud is a pretty strong Terran. he seems to be just slightly outclassed by the other Terrans, which means he has great TVTs. He just usually, when you watch these amazing TVTs, he comes out in the losing end and not the winning end. I remember a really entertaining tournament game between Spud and Spiny, the #1 Zerg bot, where again he came out on the losing end, but they're very strong games. Out is Spud. So, well-developed bot. I think he has pretty good like leapfrogging of his tanks, supported by bio. I think his downside is his economy behind it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. I keep forgetting to bring this up. So that will be Mad AI versus Spud. So Spud is a full almost 50 ELO ahead of Mad AI. So this is getting to the tougher matches for Mad AI. With that said, Mad AI used to be like a top 10 bot, so tough to say if this is a unrealistically low rank at the moment for him. 36 minutes, I think I'll call it the end of this video here. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll continue this soon. I think for the last video in this series, I'm going to make it one of those videos that has like a premiere date. So it'll be premiered at a live time, and there'll be live chat, and I'll be there, so you guys can come and chat with me. And I'm going to premiere it right before the AI Arena Pro Bots showcase, which is going to be a Gauntlet style tournament for the top 8 bots. So those bots will be, now there's no repetition of authors. So it's going to be Micro Machine, myself, Spiny. Fidelina is actually going to bring Mixed Breed as his bot. So Dominion Dog won't be there. So the 4th bot will be the Harvester, followed by Genzi bot, 4-Gate bot, which is written by Scarlet. Now up until the end of our ladder race, 4-Gate bot was actually number 2. So look out for that. Scarlet said she also, during the ladder race, she had a bug up there, which caused her to lose about 100 ELO. So 4-Gate bot could definitely win this. Then Mixed Breed will be the 7th bot. Sharpened Edge is written by the same author as the Harvester, even though the name is different. Dr. Amphi was part of the Sharpened Edge team. So the final 8th bot will be Straylock. Yeah. So 4-Gate Dev is just kind of a copy of 4-Gate with the newest features. So I'm going to end our series at tier P. So we're going to go up here. So we're not too far away at this point. Yeah, so the final match will be between tier P and whoever reaches that point, and that'll be premiered live. So we'll have live chat, and then immediately after that, I'll put in a link to the Pro Bots showcase of the top 8 AI Arena bots. We'll get to see my bot in action, Scarlet's bot, the unbeatable Micro Machine. It'll be a fun time, and I'll be hopping over to that channel and that chat and watching that live. Which is also going to be streamed on YouTube as well. They don't use Twitch anymore for ESChamp. They prefer YouTube, which is, it's actually a really good platform. The main reason to use Twitch over YouTube is just that there's more viewers on Twitch, but there's nothing wrong with the YouTube platform. It's been getting better and better. Obviously, the servers are there worldwide, so it's a good place to watch. Yeah, but that's still a few videos away. So that will be happening on Saturday, the 30th, so 2 days from when I'm recording this, probably 1 day from when you're seeing it. Yeah, because I guess we are approaching the end now, right? We're up to Mad AI defeating, we're up to Spud, we're up to number 19, and we gotta go as high as number 12. Yeah, it's not many, maybe 2 videos left, so that's cool. Okay, so yeah, we'll see you guys there if you're able to make it. Otherwise, enjoy. I'm out of here, guys. See ya.